Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Wow. The energy level has dropped to 50% compared to day one, right? That's okay. So I could relate. I could relate to it. In fact, it has been exciting few days while it is, but it's also a little exhausting, right? So we've been all running rooms to room, sessions to session, floors to floor to meet a lot of incredible people, especially the panelists, the presenters, and also a lot of people, right? In fact, when I was checking my health app on my Apple Watch, it's showing me almost 25,000 steps on an average on a daily basis for the past 2 days, right? And my standing hours have gone up almost to 6.5 hours on an average. So if my Apple Watch can think, which I believe maybe in 20 years, thanks to AGI, artificial general intelligence, right? So when we reach there, it might be wondering, did I really using it or did I tie it on my dog? Right? So jokes apart, I'm Karthikeyan Ravindran. I head the AI and immersive operations for Wipro. And it's been a fantastic few days here, and I had the privilege to meet a lot of amazing people. It's a true honor to be here at TrustCon. I really like the keynote of Charlotte on day one. She was talking about, it's all about story, right? So here is my 2-minute story. The picture, what do you see behind me? Yes, of course, that's me. This picture was taken when I was doing my hike at the base station of Mount Everest. It is one of the dream list, wish list, and this hike I completed in just 5 minutes. Yes, you heard me right, just in 5 minutes. Thanks to the generative AI technologies, right? The Mid-Journey and Swap AI, I was able to create this image, the fake image, in 5 minutes, right? So that's the power of these technologies. Most of you have been to our booth, right? And you guys would have played this game, Find the Fake. This picture was also part of it. As per the last 2 days statistics, if I have to look at the data, 54% of people felt this image is real, right? So that's the power of this technology. It is getting really, really difficult to be precise. It's getting impossible to differentiate between the real and the fake. And my topic is all about the same, the rise of generative AI, the benefits, the challenges, and how as a community we all can come together in terms of combating them. And also I'll talk a little bit about the strategy in terms of what Wipro applies in terms of developing and deploying these technologies at large scale for industry solutions, keeping trust and safety at the center. Generative AI has democratized AI, right? The rise of these platforms are staggering. In fact, as per the recent statistics, there are 600 monthly active users on these platforms, though generative AI has hardly been there for 18 months. The rise and the adoption is exclusively because of the kind of inclination and the kind of immense interest what people show on these technologies. As per one of the analysts, there are 90% of online content that could be generated by AI by the end of 2025. This underscores the dominance of AI in online content creation. And this particular image, you could see, this won the first prize in the Colorado State Fair Art Festival. In fact, this is generated by AI, and it sparked the debate in terms of, the use of AI in terms of creation of art. That's the level of sophistication. The innovative and cutting-edge technologies like generative adversarial network, the transformers, the diffusion models are at the core of this revolution. The diffusion models used in tools like DALL-E 2 is helping the creators to create complex, unique images just by a text prompt. right? So these are enabling the creators to focus their time and energy in terms of ideation and in terms of creativity and less on production. These technologies are transforming all the industries across, and especially segments like marketing, design, entertainment, gaming, etc. It's all great, right? Well, it is still not, right? In terms of, like a coin has two sides, while generative AI has immense benefits, it also comes with its host of challenges. Again, if you go by the statistics, there are 2 million cases of identity fraud using deepfakes reported across 244 countries. 70% of generative AI created CSAMs were reported by the top social media platforms. 61% of US adults polled, they believe AI is not safe, and they are really concerned. So these kind of headlines, clips, we almost see on a daily basis, right? Right from the deepfakes in election, inappropriate content creation, be it related to racial stereotyping, be it related to IP infringement, the list just goes on. 2024 is the year of elections. We all know it, right? So there are 64 countries going through elections. Few have already gone through, and few are in the process of going through the elections. Manipulated audio and video clips are already misleading voters in terms of intruding into the democratic process. This underlines the power of AI, how it can be used to spread misinformation at large scale, intruding into the democratic system. Hence, it is so vital, it is important to have trust by design, not as an afterthought. Just by adding only human moderators is no longer a viable solution. Simple reason, because at the scale which the synthetic content getting generated is humongous, right? So if you have to look at one of the recent analysts again, if you have to look at from two buckets, trust and safety as a service, which is through moderators, and trust and safety as platform services, which is on the left side. And if you have to compare between 2023 to 2028, like again, Charlotte was calling out on the day one, we are not into the doomsday. This is just the beginning, right? So if you look at it, the industry software as a platform solution is expected to grow almost by double, which is to almost from a 7.5 billion to 15 billion. And the moderators, in terms of as a service, is expected to be stable almost at 17 billion. So what is the solution? The solution is all about the hybrid model. And at Wipro, we have the hybrid model through the Vega Studio, which is nothing but Wipro Enterprise Generative AI Studio. Right across the life cycle of the creation of LLMs, MLMs, be it in terms of data preparation, be it related to pre-processing, fine-tuning, red teaming, data annotation, labeling, etc. Throughout the life cycle, responsible AI, ethical AI is at the center. At Wipro, we have invested more than $1 billion in terms of these initiatives. We have trained more than 220,000 people in terms of foundational AI and the responsible use of AI. And we have 23,000 digital guardians supporting our end customers across the globe on 40 different languages. We also have a 55K AI practitioner working for us in these initiatives. We also do extensive research along with top universities. We have formed an AI council, and these are the 4 top universities we work with: University of Maryland, IIT Delhi, IIT Patna, and University of South Carolina. We do extensive research in terms of deepfakes and hallucination, and today it's an honor, and I'm extremely delighted and excited to introduce and welcome Professor Amit Seth. He is the founding chair of AI Institute of University of South Carolina. I just want to be sure that I introduce him really well and right. So let me use my glasses. You know, Professor Amit Seth is an educator, researcher, and entrepreneur. In his 3 industry research jobs, his R&D led to several major products. He has built 3 world-class academic organizations, including the university-wide AI Institute of South Carolina, with 50 researchers as its founding director. By licensing IP from his university research, he co-founded 4 startups and ran 2 of them. He is a fellow of IEEE, AAAI, AAAS, ACM, AIA, and his major awards includes IEEE CS Wallace McDowell Award. He has been among the best cited CS author with 1,000 publications and 60,000 citations. Let's give a big hand to Professor, please. Welcome, Professor. Please. How is TrustCon, Professor?
This is first one for me in terms of seeing the practitioners and what they do. So content moderators. I go to technical conferences, computer science, AI conferences. They are also very large conferences. But it's wonderful to see from the user perspective. And I understand the value of understanding the users and customers because I've done companies. So
amazing. And Professor, you know, as we are talking, right, I am getting a lot of questions coming from my team. And trust me, these are not AI generated. These are all true humans from my team, they are sharing. So let me start with a foundational one, right? So as I was talking, generative AI has democratized AI, and there is an increase in adoption of Gen AI, you know, technologies. And how are you seeing this is changing the landscape of content moderation?
I think in your own presentation, you talked about how fast the use of generative AI has grown. 12.6 billion images were created just using one of the Stable Diffusion platform. And the number of content that you mentioned that by 2025, 80% of content will be AI generated. Look at the rate of growth. The challenge, though, with regards to content moderation is that along with the growth of AI generated content, the generation of toxic content, generation of fake news and misinformation is also growing. The gaming industry lost more than $1.26 billion in a year because of toxicity. And similarly, there are 56% of the organizations lost more than 50 million each because of the lapse in AI ML governance issues. So, what is happening is that AI is used for generation, but also used for spreading. So 80% of the content on social media may be spread by the bots. So with all these things combined, the amount of work that you have to do, if you showed the statistics that number of people in the content moderation would remain the same, software will increase, right? That means the amount of content that a person has to go through is far more and far more nuanced and much harder to tell apart. So, and in multiple different modalities. So it's not just the text, it's images, it's video. Amount of time it will take for you to understand something is fake or not. If a video will be lot longer than, let's say, text. So the problem has significantly multiplied.
Absolutely, Professor. So you know, I wear a hat of a content creator because my first creation you saw, it's a fake image, right? And also I wear a hat of this community, which is, you know, moderators and being part of the, trust and safety. And also I play a major role in terms of as a content consumer. So what sort of this wider adoption of LLMs and Gen AI tools has, from a challenging standpoint, what sort of challenges the content moderators and the consumer of these content are seeing, and also is there any sort of specific technical reasoning behind such challenges?
Yeah, so I think you already discussed some issues with regards to the challenges that content moderators face. Let me start with the technical, things behind the scene, which is creating huge problem and its impact on content moderators. One of the, we had a paper in the last NLP conference, the top NLP conference, and we got the best paper award. It was about human detectability, AI versus human detectability. Can you tell whether this content is generated by AI or human? And we showed by analyzing 15 large language models that as the models have become more sophisticated, the larger model with many billion and trillion parameters, that it has become impossible to tell apart in terms of language it generates, in terms of the content it generates, whether it is human or AI generated. And the second very important thing behind the scene is that of hallucination. All of you might have heard of that. That was 2023's year of the word of the year for the major dictionary. I think. Hallucination is a feature of the language model. It is inbuilt. There's no way you can take it out, because you are analyzing the data, creating all these probabilities, the space of parameters, and then recreating your answer based on the question being asked. Because it is probabilistic, there is no way it can be definitive. And so you cannot tell whether the content is based on the data on which it is trained or it is simply made up. Where there is not enough supporting data, there is more chance of the data being made up. You guys may be well aware of that case of the lawyer who used ChatGPT to make his briefing case and was heavily fined. The challenge is that you can even ask the LLM, where did you get this information from, or what is the supportive evidence? It will make that up. And you would not, so it's very hard for you to really know. And we analyzed again 15 LLMs and showed, we developed something called hallucination vulnerability index, and showed that as the models have become more complex, there is more challenge with the hallucination and difficult to identify the hallucination and all that. And there are multiple types of hallucinations, and it's just going to be very hard to deal with them.
Absolutely, Professor. In the interest of time, I'll just ask one question and then we'll wrap up. Yes, thank you. And Professor, it's a very interesting conversation, right? Always people talk about AI versus AI. So if AI can add content moderation problem, how does AI can help these challenges? Is there a RAG model? And also if you can touch a little bit on the Wipro and USC collaboration, that would be great. We'll keep that as the
There is no way. You have to you have to fight fire with fire. There is absolutely no way we will be able to deal with the problems that generative AI has generated without another AI. My view, though, is that you cannot, you will not be able to deal with the problem with another generative AI easily. So for that, you have to go to the next generation of AI. It's called hybrid AI, but also neuro-symbolic AI. So the neural network-based generative AI and neuro-symbolic AI would be the one where you have symbolic information or knowledge. So think about a fake news where a person says, a nurse has posted that fake news saying, I'm taking the blood from Magic Johnson. And there's a photograph of Magic Johnson donating blood. You cannot, you would need the knowledge that Magic Johnson is HIV positive and that HIV positive persons cannot donate the blood, right? So this is the symbolic part. This is the knowledge that you have to have. And when you combine the two, you can address this issue. In interest of time, so with Wipro, we did a project where we had to develop very large knowledge graph. Knowledge graph is, or world model, which is where you have factual information about the world. And this is something you need to be handy. A content moderator have to be handy so that you can tell apart. And it may be domain specific, right? And so we develop very large model, the knowledge graph, and we develop the neurosymbolic AI algorithms for variety of things like summarization, question answering, and such. And for the problems that this community is interested in, we've been looking at now how to take that model and that approach and address the problem. Particularly the challenging issue of, let's say, preventing vision model from creating a hateful image.
Wonderful.
So that's an example.
Wonderful, Professor. As always, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.